All right, everybody. I wanted to go over some stocks I'm looking at, some things I'm seeing move today, and where my focus is going to be throughout the day to see if I can figure out how to make some money. First off, on the stocks, by the way, I'm recording this the evening beforehand. It's about 8:30 on the 6th, but we're going to look at these for the 7th. First off is Beyond Meats. You can see yesterday it rose 26%. That's insane. If we look over here at the 6 month, they've been near these numbers before, so it's not unlikely that they'll be there again. They crashed hard when the market went down. You can see since the market hit its initial crash, they're up 133%. If you bought them down there, you're having a great time. Right now, we're having meat processing plants have people get sick, some even shut down, even against the executive order. But it's going to be a stock to see what it does in the next coming days. See if it bounces a couple times, see if we can figure out if it's going out up, and see what Beyond Meat says. They have put out some statements, by the way, that they're going to try to take full advantage of this growth opportunity for themselves. So let's hope they do. Next up, as usual, I'm always watching these because they interest, are the airlines. Airlines right now are an unsteady place to be. So I'm watching them. Right now I pulled up Delta, which, by the way, since all this began, has dropped about 65% and is currently the lowest it's been in a long time. So we're waiting, we're hoping that Congress in the next CARES Act 2 possibly adds in some additional funding for these airlines or something of the sort, because this could be an exceptional money-making opportunity. That's a 200% return on investment right there. Who doesn't want to look at those? We have some earnings coming up tomorrow too. Some big earnings, important ones, things that are going to be very, very telling to the new normal. First off, we have Budweiser. They're yelling out their earnings today, and we can see they've taken a bit of a tumble too. If we go back to kind of before all this happened, they dropped about a third of their value. I don't know about you, but a lot of people are drinking at home a lot more, which means they might bring in some phenomenal profits. We'll have to see. They own a lot of other beverages than just Budweiser as well, so we don't know exactly how all those works. I'm not sure personally if energy drinks are selling as good, but I think the alcoholic beverage side of things is really going to pull them through. We'll have to watch for their earnings call to see what happens. We have two competing companies actually coming out with earnings calls today. We have Zillow, which Zillow, before all this happened, had a crazy spike up to 65. But if we look at a more reasonable high, we can see that they're down about 20%. That's not crazy. But at the same time, a lot of their capability of income has gone away. Yes, their website's still there, but are realtors paying for that advertisement right now? Zillow already released as well that they aren't buying any properties. So who knows right now what their earnings are going to do. But if we also go back to a longer term, we can see they have a fairly slow and consistent growth pattern throughout all these highs and lows. So could this possibly go back up and keep going up? We'll have to see what their earnings report says. But their competitors doing it too. Redfin's coming out with their earnings report today. We can see here they had a high somewhere around $30-ish, and now we're down to about $21. That's roughly, says here, 25% drop. That's again a good opportunity for a good income. And if we look back at their trend, we can see though that they're not as stable and steady of a company when it comes to their growth. They're having some phenomenal growth here from September through February. They were up almost 100%. But is that sustainable? And we can see here at their low, they are all the way down to $11 a share. That's crazy. And once again, even though their website's still up and going and people have more time to maybe look at houses, are realtors willing to pay that money for advertisements? I guess we'll have to see. Last up are a couple wild cards. They're not necessarily a daily watch, But there's something to keep in mind as the economy starts to reopen. They'll be very telling to see how, I believe anyways, how the economy will reopen. We have Starbucks number one. Let's see, I have a little far out here. If we go back to a 6 month, we can see that Starbucks is down only about 20%. That's not bad. And that's actually kind of fitting. If you look at what Starbucks says, they said they about 80% of their orders before all this happened were occurring in drive-through. Well, now that's shut down, that's that 20% right there. We'll have to see. This is a long term. See if as they open back up, we hear of lines, we see our local stores doing busy. Starbucks releases any information, any press releases to tell us how they're doing. I think that will be fitting to see if Starbucks will make a full comeback and if the economy will take a full comeback. Another large store opening back up here soon as fast as they can is Kohl's. We can see here that Kohl's, since their peak, say middle of February till now, is down 62%. That's a nice way to easily get a 100% return on investment. And if we go back out to a 5 year, no, they haven't had the most stable growth. But Kohl's is a national chain. Everybody knows them. And they've been doing some phenomenal improvements during this time. They're doing more online orders. They're doing curbside pickups. They're really doing good things when it comes to innovation. I'm curious to see how the reopening process works for them. These are the stocks that are taking up most of my focus. Let me know what you think. Are there any stocks you're watching? Are there any of them that I'm watching in wrong ways and shouldn't be? Let me know your opinions below, and thanks for watching.